kind of like
who is an elder of Beacon Community Church to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation. Gary?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please bow your head with me in prayer. Gracious Heavenly Father, we first want to acknowledge that this is a day that you have made, and we rejoice and we're glad in it. And Lord, specifically, we thank you for this evening, and that you are here in our midst, in our presence, for this meeting. Father, we thank you for the city council that's here in Goddard and the other leaders that are present here tonight as well, those who give of their time and energy to serve the community here. We give you thanks for them. And your word tells us, Lord, that you have appointed them. You have appointed them to these positions, that all authority comes from you, and you have appointed them to these positions of authority. So may they keep that in mind as they lead. And Father, I pray that there would be harmony, that there would be unity amongst the council tonight, that they would be willing to lay aside any personal agendas or ambitions that they may have, and just to focus on the Goddard, what is best for the community here in Goddard. So Lord, we lift this time up tonight. We ask that you would guide and direct the council through the agenda tonight, that there would be grace, there would be mercy, there would be love, there would be respect amongst them for each other. And Lord, that the accomplishments of tonight would do two things. It would bring glory to you, and it would be a benefit to the people here in God. And I pray all this in your name, Lord Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Gary, thank you. Before we approve tonight's agenda, I would like to take a moment to apologize to my colleagues on the bench for the way I handled the end of the last meeting. wasn't my intention to be short, or cut anyone off. I probably need to be a better listener. I'll work to choose my words more wisely, and overall, I'll just try to do better, try to do this thing. So, with that, I apologize, and appreciate your giving me some grace. So, with that, we'll move on. I'll entertain a motion for approval of tonight's agenda.
I make a motion to approve tonight's agenda. Second.
Chris has made the motion, Naomi seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Item D, citizen comments. It's an opportunity for members of our community to share thoughts that they have with the council. And we'll go ahead and open citizen comments. And if you want to come up, state your name, write it down on, hopefully there's a piece of paper up there to write it down. Look at this.
There is none.
We'll go ahead and open citizen comments.
Hello, Mayor, Council. Daniel Carlisle, 217 North Cedar. Two things bring me in front of you guys. A little over a year ago, I come in front of you guys. Our alley behind me is getting rough again. Potholes start to come back. They're not near as bad. Like to see if there's something done about that. The next thing about it that brings me to front of you guys, behind the learning center in that alley, is a 6-foot privacy fence. There's weeds that are presently taller than that 6-foot privacy fence. Last time I checked, the code was 8 inches. The fence is 72 inches tall. That's way over the code. Anything we get done about that too? Obviously, I don't need the decision right this moment, but that's what brings me in front of you guys.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay.
Good evening, my name is
There you go.
My name is Amber Mills, and my family lives directly beside the new road addition by the Rachel Brooks new development. We are trying to understand the final plan for this area, specifically whether a gate will be installed or what the process of this new road is and why. The current layout already looks unusual. On one side of the former cul-de-sac, there's an existing private driveway, and on the other side, there's now a roadway leading into an entire housing addition. And we live on the south side, and our tree row goes all the way across. Adding a gate, we don't know what your plans are, would make this area look even more disconnected and poorly planned. Rather than appearing like a thoughtfully designed street, it would look like a private driveway, and then a gated entrance, if that's proposed, would simply add onto opposite sides of an existing cul-de-sac. We're not opposed to the new road. When we bought the property, we kind of knew stuff would probably get developed. But we would prefer for it to remain open and for an entire area to be designed so that it looks and it functions like one continuous intentional roadway. We would like the council to clarify, is the gate definitely going to be installed? Who requested the gate? The city, the developer, future residents? problem is the gate intended to solve if it is put up? And has the city studied how the gate would affect, like emergency vehicles trying to go through, garbage trucks going through, school buses, because it kind of concerns us. Another major concern is kind of the communication. No one from the city or the development contacted us about this road connection. And I just think when you're supposed to be like working together, it would have been a little bit appreciated just to let us know what we were looking at. We were never given an opportunity to ask questions or even provide just input before the work began. We were actually coming back from a family vacation, and just to come down your road and see your trees and everything getting taken out was really kind of not a fun ending to our vacation. During construction, our property stake was also removed. No one notified us, explained why it was removed, or told us whether or when it would be properly replaced. We would like to know, who removed it and how the city or the developer intends to verify and remark our property line.
Mayor, I don't mean to interrupt Ms. Mills, but the council may want to vote if they want to extend their time per our code of meeting procedure.
I'll make a motion to extend the time to a second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Carries 3-2, 4-1. We'll give you a couple more minutes.
We respectfully ask the council to just give us clarification on what is going to take place before making that decision. Please visit the location and look at the layout from the perspective of families who see and use this area every day. If this road is going to remain, we'd like it to flow naturally into an addition and look like it was intentionally planned. Not like unrelated entrances were attached to the end of the cul-de-sac. We're just asking for clear answers about the gate, our missing property stake, and why the directly affected homeowners were not included in the communication before the construction began. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amber.
Micah, you might want to get her phone number and maybe.
Talk. You guys want to talk? Come with me.
Okay.
You're good enough, that's great.
I guess I'll take those agenda items.
Let's stall. Anyone else? Okay, we'll close citizen comments then. Move on to item E, conflict of interest check and declaration that no one has any conflicts with tonight's agenda items. It's 5 no's on that. You don't have any appointments, proclamations, recognitions, or nominations. So we'll move to the consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda.
Thank you, Miranda. Corey seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. New business. Good shitty.
Micah said it wouldn't work.
Okay, you're gonna rotate this for me? Okay.
Honorable Mayor and City Council, these are running hot. Craig Crossett, your city manager here, pinch hitting for our community development director. This agenda item is related to the Sedgwick County Electric Co-op rebates. Through ordinance 1047, the council would be establishing that it would finance and pay for the cost of the co-op electric utility system improvements to serve Rancho Brook Estates Edition Phase 3, and that the property owners benefiting by such improvements will pay special assessments in respect of those improvements. Next slide. So here's a breakdown of the costs, and so this works generally just like special assessments do. The costs will be spread pro rata against the lots that it will be benefiting. The reason we do this is because unlike Evergy, the co-op won't finance those costs. So using the CID statute, we're able to help extend those costs over a period of time. So there's not a large cash lump sum payment paid up front for the electric improvements to serve the development. Next slide, please. The agreement is had been reviewed and approved by both our bond counsel, Kevin Cowan, and our attorneys at Morris Lane. Next slide. Here is staff's recommendation. If you have any questions of a technical nature that I can't answer, Kevin Cowan, our bond counsel with Gilmore and Bell, would be glad to assist.
The more we develop into Citrus County co-op area, this will be more kind of a normal routine thing. So, any questions or comments? Pretty well. Agreement here, so I'll entertain a motion to approve this.
Make a motion that we accept the document as drafted in its substantially completed form, allowing the mayor to sign on behalf of the city, include any future minor modifications that may arise prior to the execution of the agreement. Second.
Amy's made the motion, Krista seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, good evening, Mayor and Council. We'll be seeing some Wayne Newton or something up there.
Karaoke night.
It is karaoke night, isn't it? So, we are looking to get a change order approved for 199th Street south of Kellogg to Santa Fe. We did some further review as this project was moving along of the McAtee surface steel and decided that it was not the best product for what we were going to utilize it for. So we're looking to get a deduct of $94,659.63 on that. And that money then would be utilized towards this change order on 199. What's proposed is, next slide please. What is proposed is concrete there at Kellogg and Goddard Road, about 100 foot approximately past that Emprise Bank entrance there. That would eliminate the potholes and such that have developed there due to the meeting of the concrete and the asphalt, due to the slope. As vehicles come down to the asphalt, that's creating the potholes and damage there. So when we extend that concrete out, that can change that slope, make it more gradual as it needs up with the asphalt, eliminating some of those issues. And then also that is a solution that you're looking at, 20 years or so of lifespan on that concrete. Any expansions that would happen in that area can also be pinned to the current asphalt, or excuse me, pinned to the current concrete to allow us for those expansions and to keep us from having to tear out the concrete. And then of course the asphalt would be a mill, edge mill with overlay 7 foot from the edges on each side, extending all the way down to Santa Fe. That would allow us to leave the current asphalt and kind of taper that into the drives and such, and taper that into the sides of the road to keep that from having a larger edge. And then we also get to use the current asphalt as kind of a base material. It kind of helps and supports, gives it a little stronger base. Because as we speak, we don't really know what's under 199. It's kind of a tongue twister. Under 199. And so this is kind of a best solution to keep from getting into a mess that we now want to get into. Next slide, please. So as we speak, these are the specifications that we're looking at. Harlan will be helping us out a little bit on this as well, with some survey work and such. But the total bid is $232,270 is what APAC has given us for an estimate of that cost. With this and the deduct, that would still put us under budget of the 1.25 million is the top of our budget, and this puts us about that 1.138 million, leaving us some money there for contingencies as we get into these projects. If there's any issues, then we can take care of that. Next slide, please. This is the summary of the proposal of the $232,270. As you can tell, it's mainly the, like I spoke of, the profile milling, excavations, the concrete. Next slide, please. Like I said, this will all be fit underneath the 2026 roadway budget. It puts us under budget still, gives us some room for contingencies. Next slide, please. At this point, I'd take any questions if you have any.
What's the timing for this look like?
So the timing would look like possibly fall. We would work with APAC to try to make sure that we have minimal disruptions to the school as possible. Keep kind of saying this is short-term pain for long-term gain in a lot of respects. This is something that once we get this completed, you may have Kellogg and 199th shut down for a couple of weeks for the concrete, and the asphalt won't take very long at all. So we'll have a little delays, but we'll try to make sure we fall inside those fall breaks and things of that nature. We'll do the best we can on that.
And I apologize, I wasn't really thinking of this earlier when we discussed this, but what about the houses that are down 199th? I mean, what will this look like for them?
There should be minimal disruptions for them as well.
Okay.
There's other streets that they can access. When it comes to the edge mill and such, there's still a drivable surface there.
Yeah.
So you're not really disrupting too much on that, because the concrete work is just going to be right there at Kellogg and 199th. So that's where the biggest disruption would be.
And I know, are we planning to try to get that little island put in there too then?
Yeah, we'll talk to APAC about that and see if we can get that kind of thrown into the project as well while that area is shut down to kind of help consolidate some of those projects.
I think one thing that's important to point out that we are still waiting for a study from KDOT and an engineering service that's almost 4 months in delay. So these things we are doing that won't negatively impact anything in the future in terms of adding lanes, but it is frustrating. And when you're promised something, then it goes 3.5 or 4 months before we receive it. And I know sometimes when people hear we're doing this little piece, it's not in response to that study. We'll make sure that's clear. Mm-hmm. This is just an improvement that we're going to make to eliminate part of the issue there just with the surface. And hopefully once we get the study then, if it works out like it did at 183rd Street, KDOT will hopefully provide us with some funding to do maybe the expansion of turn lanes. And it's not by want of the fact that we're not paying attention to it. We are severely limited. When they did the 183rd Street expansion, KDOT would not do the study at 199th until 183rd was finished, and they wanted a time limit to let the traffic flow settle in before they'd actually do the study. So the reason really for the delay from not doing anything from right after 183rd Street was done is really the timeline of KDOT and the way they function. So, and KDOT, I'll say this, on a lot of other things, they've been really good to work with. They cost shared the drives on the north side, I think 3 or 4 of those, and I don't want to discourage them, but there's an engineering firm that's slow walking this deal, and I don't know why. So, but I just want to make sure that people understand that we're highly aware of the corner, and I think we all cringe when we hear that there's been another accident there. So that's my 2 cents on that.
willing to speak to that as well. You know, on the asphalt side of things, there first, we're starting to see the roads slough off. We're starting to see some damage done to 199 that we need to get ahead of before it becomes a larger issue as well.
And it's so heavily trafficked too, it doesn't take as long to deteriorate once it gets to that point. So. Any other comments or questions?
I was gonna say thank you for being proactive. I feel like I say this all the time. I don't think we could say enough good things about Public Works this last year, but just being proactive and getting ahead of these situations before they become situations. I'm grateful for that, so thank you.
All right.
I make a motion to, do you choose to after this?
Sure.
Ladies first.
Flip a coin.
I'll make a motion to approve a change order to the city roadway maintenance contract with APAC Maintenance Inc. in the amount of $232,207 and authorize the city manager to execute the change order.
Corey's made the motion, Crystal seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Jason.
All right, once you sub in a pinch hitter, you can't take them out of line. So I'm back here for the new vehicle purchase for the building inspector. Next slide, please. We have a 2014 Chevy Impala. So when we got that vehicle, it was used for code enforcement purposes. And then most recently, it was used for building inspection services. And through extensive effort by our on-staff maintenance person of vehicles and the effort of a actual mechanic that has a shop outside of town where we take our fleet, we've found that it's going to need the head gaskets or a full engine replacement, which are both exorbitant costs. I think if you did either of those things, the vehicle itself would probably be worth around what those items cost. So with that, we have looked at some options. Our attempt was to find a new vehicle, so we have warranty, something with good gas mileage. That's going to be used as our building inspector is going to be doing inspections around town, which, by the way, he's very busy. He's been here for a couple months, and we've had a lot of permits pulled just in the last few weeks, so we've been really excited to put him to work. But the car went out on him soon after he started. We were trying to share the ACO vehicle, but we've been keeping 3 to 4 dogs in our kennel pretty consistently. For some reason, folks have a harder time taking care of their pets in the summer months. Not sure what the science is behind that, but the ACO vehicle has been pretty well tied up during business hours, and so then he's had to resort to utilizing his personal vehicle, and it's not very efficient for his time to be keeping a diary of his mileage so he can be reimbursed in his personal vehicle for inspections that are a mile from City Hall all day long. So what it really amounts to is this position spends a lot of time in a vehicle, so we would like to use equipment reserve funds on hand to purchase something new. So we looked at some new sedans. So the American manufacturers are not really making sedans anymore. I think they've figured something out with the market there, so that really leaves you with Nissan or Kia. We saw the Nissan Sentra that we preferred over Kia's options. It's around a $27,000, $28,000 vehicle. While I was having a meeting with Councilman Durr late last week, he had brought up an opportunity for perhaps a Chevy Sport Track. I'd actually never heard of this vehicle before, which I like to think I know a little bit about cars, so it was a nice surprise to hear there was another option. It's around the same price, right around $28,000, but it's an SUV. There are going to be few instances where having a little bit more grade separation in an SUV versus a sedan could be fruitful. Typically, he's going to be able to park on a paved street and walk into a construction site, but there may be some times where it would be beneficial to have an SUV to be able to do inspections. Unfortunately, our contractors can sometimes have a difficulty in keeping up with their track out, which is the large, big clods of dirt that they pull in and out of construction sites. If you drive a sedan with a low profile, sometimes that can be an issue. So just again, kind of attributing to maybe a desire to look at the Chevy option instead. So the Chevy Trax, so it were. Next slide, please. Here's a look at the two options. Next slide, please. Again, this will be attributed to equipment reserve per the advice of our Chief Financial Officer. So we always like to give you guys options. Staff would recommend purchase authority for the Chevy Trax. I would think $29,000 could cover it comfortably from what we've seen. And it looks like there's a few dealerships here locally that we could source it from, and so at that point we would just be looking for the best cost up to that expenditure authority, and we're going to go after the basic warranties and stuff like that too. So a revised motion, if you were willing to go with staff's recommendation, would just be authorizing staff to have expenditure authority up to $29,000 to purchase 2026 Chevy Trax from the best dealership price available in the area. I'm sure you'll be able to narrate that word for word back to me if that's the route you want to go, but I'm here to help piecemeal a motion together if needed.
Any questions?
My suggestion was just simply to give them the budget authority to spend up to $29,000. I think they're pretty responsible, and I think that if you guys go out and have a better deal on a vehicle that works for a building inspector, I personally have trust that you're going to make the best purchase. So
My only comment would be to round it to 30. I'm kind of an even numbers guy. So. Even just, if they overshoot it. But
You say it doesn't need leather?
Yeah.
It's too hot on these August days.
heated and cooled seats.
there you go. Anyway, 29's fine.
I'd be fine with 30. Yeah, I'd be fine with 30.
You okay with 30?
I'm okay with 30.
Give it to us.
Are you?
I'm fine with 30 to 29 around number two.
Micah's
Not as round as 30 is.
Micah's not in here to say this, so I will say that I feel like you guys went well past the expectancy of life on this vehicle, so I feel like rounding up an extra 1,000 is fair.
I recommend that we approve the purchase of a new vehicle for not to exceed $30,000.
That's staff's discretion.
That's staff's discretion.
I second.
Give you the authority to, I don't know, making it up.
Very good. Naomi made the motion. She made it up. She said that it was good.
I'll second.
Amanda seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Wow.
It was your suggestion.
Pinch hitting again.
I've had a good day at the plate, so coach is leaving me in here. This last item of new business would be the Strategic Growth Zone Overlay District. So back in August of 2025, we had a joint special meeting amongst the Planning Commission and City Council. This concept first appeared at that time. And if you go back and watch that meeting, which I did, hopefully some of you guys did too, such as staff, but it was a consensus that this was something that we wanted to look at moving forward with and at least put on the council agenda. So unfortunately, due to competing interests, we did not get that on the agenda in the fall of last year, and I'll take accountability for that falling through the cracks. It should have come up pretty soon thereafter that special meeting. So you guys might recall we spent quite a bit of the second quarter of this year working through a resolution that put some parameters, design standards, and things of that nature around 2-family, 3-family, and 4-family zoning districts. And so as at that time, kind of that light bulb went up. Oh, we talked about this last year. It's kind of a part of this same discussion. Let's check the pulse again to see if they still want to go through with considering this. If so, then we'll put it on the agenda. So had another pulse check with you guys in July 1. Again, it was provided by the governing body that staff go ahead and put this on the agenda. So the last Planning Commission meeting here a week or so ago, they approved adopting the Strategic Growth Zone Overlay District. And so now it is before you to ratify the decision of the Planning Commission. Advance slide, please. So this is meant to be an area where the development community and stakeholders could expect a more favorable outcome from Planning Commission and Council for zoning amendments, with the expectation that certain restrictions passed on the two-family resolution related to the 40% ratio of two-family properties would not apply in the area. The expectation would be that the design standards would still be intact. This is merely a policy signal. So if this were approved tonight, it would be published in the paper and then put on the zoning map as an overlay district. And it's a policy signal to developers and stakeholders that if you were to contemplate purchasing property in this area and apply for a zoning amendment to R2, 3, or 4 zoning classification, the Planning Commission and Council would give high consideration to amending or waiving the portion of the resolution and restrictive covenant as it relates to the 40% on the two-family properties. It does not give any additional authority. The same Kansas statutes would need to be followed when it comes to the zoning amendments, so it would go through that same due process. This would just kind of be a layer of color over that process for you guys to consider if this were to be adopted. Here's a look at the west region as it relates to the area around Goddard. In the light blue, you have the City of Goddard city limits. In the purple hashed area, you have the City of Wichita's 2035 urban growth area, which is more or less an official symbol of where they see potential growth patterns in our area. In the dark gray, you see the City of Wichita city limits. The orange is the strategic growth zone area. It's basically the entire unincorporated Sedgwick County between the City of Goddard and the City of Wichita from 21st Street North to MacArthur South. You can see a little area within the orange where City of Goddard has already established city limits within the strategic growth zone area, as well as just some light blue areas within the City of Wichita's 2025 urban growth area. Go ahead and go to that next one. When we looked at this the first time, we didn't include the school district overlay, but as we had more conversations about this, it became more and more relevant to us. Now, the school district is roughly 10 times our size and land mass. It takes up a large portion of the City of Wichita. To the northeast there, it goes up to 119th and the half-mile line north of Central between it and 13th. Looking a little further south, it goes all the way to Maple and Tyler. Of course, to the southwest, we're on and past Lake Athens. So we think this is an important context to the conversation because we feel like the neighboring city is generating more value from a financial perspective only from the school district versus the City of Goddard. And there's a line of thought that the strategic growth zone being a policy signal that developers may consider to annex into Goddard versus Wichita, that we would be able to take more advantage of the fact that our school district is probably the primary reason, if not one, maybe two, as to why development dollars are being invested into the City of Goddard. I always say the school district is the lifeblood of our community, and I really mean that. Next slide. There's a small publication cost for notice, and if approved, the council, the ordinance would be published. We got two options here. One is to waive the reading of the ordinance, and then two, we recommend you approve the ordinance introducing the strategic overlay district into the zoning and subdivision regulations and updating the official zoning map to reflect the new district. With that, I would be glad to take any questions that you guys might have, and I believe a city attorney could contribute as well if needed.
Craig, can we go back to that image?
Yes, sir.
And could you just explain, I asked Craig and Micah why we wouldn't target further south because of the large border to the south of MacArthur that's still in the school district?
It's a great question, and to me, it's a matter of practicality. There's a cost-benefit analysis that we must consider when we look at annexing on the periphery of the community, and that boils down to where are the nearest available utilities. There becomes a time where it's cost ineffective for development to come into the city of Goddard if the nearest water main or sewer main is too far away. There's just the pro forma the math doesn't work. So our thought is to go much further south than what we're recommending today. It may not be necessary because we're probably not going to see development that far south be annexed into the city of Goddard or requested to be within a relative amount of time, 5 to 10 years maybe. I think it's really important in the context of this conversation to remind ourselves that we're going through a comprehensive planning process. Some communities or stakeholders say, well, why don't you wait for that process to conclude before making decisions like this? And the reason is we don't have the affordability of time because of the growth pressure that we're currently experiencing. We don't want to not have these things in place and dollars be invested in other communities instead of ours because we haven't set a clear line of sight for those who are interested in investing in Goddard.
Time is a thing. Like I just saw the news today about, somebody developing at 119th and Colony, and that's right there along that border, and that's going to be Wichita. So they're making their way in, and if that gets developed and it's in Wichita, which it looks like it will be, so Big Blossom is right there against that area. So doing this now is important, I think.
I think you're right, and there's been some recent signals, I think, that have affirmed this concept in my mind as it relates to the speed of growth from us or our neighbors to the east. And there's been a couple of pretty significant capital investments in their utility infrastructure near us that are kind of a signal to me, okay, we're wanting to make sure that we are capable of serving this periphery and having the capacity to do so, which tells me that this general area is of interest. And part of it is just due to the fact that you look at the other areas of the county where the suburbs are butted up against the city and they've kind of developed through all those areas, and this is the next spot.
I think it's also important to note for people who are not really in favor of the growth of Goddard to look at this chart closely, because the intention of Wichita is spelled out there in the purple, and this is our way to say this is our way to protect our city and the limits, the boundaries, and just it's a pretty clear image about what the intentions of everyone are. So
I think it's coming either way. We have this conversation.
yeah.
It's obviously hard to swallow. I mean, I've said this and I would say it again. It's hard to swallow a lot of the hard work that we've put into put regulations on developers and just make sure that we're building what we want. And I think that there's things that no matter what we want to make sure we keep, but no matter what happens, whether we do this or we don't do this, this is coming. These developments are coming. It's a matter of, is Goddard going to see the revenue from that? And are we going to benefit from what we're going to be driving past every day? We have some of that already. We drive past things that we really don't love and we don't have a say in because it's not Goddard. And so I think it's really important that as we're looking at this, we're ensuring that we're getting a piece of this to benefit the city. So
I guess the last point is there's really no guarantee that in that growth zone that anything will develop for Goddard. It's really up to the developers, but it just does provide them with an additional option. And I mean, it makes sense on the north side too. That's kind of the direction where our next water source is. And so I think there's reasons, reasons too, to be looking at
Not to just continue on, but I mean, it's a small incentive. When you think the disadvantage that we already have with our tax rate, being higher and some of those types of things, I mean, it gives a reason to choose Goddard over our neighbor. I think there's more than one, but for some, it's a dollars and cents thing. And if your annual cost of living is excessively more in one versus the other, that may be the determining factor on where you live. So, having a small incentive like this is helpful, but there's still going to be other forces that we're going to be working against as people look at one versus the other. I think the other thing is we have to consider this in the context of the Northwest Expressway, but also the massive amount of floodplain, especially on the north side of the Strategic Growth Overlay District. It is financially unfeasible to do a more inefficient single-family development in these areas where you have a 80-acre piece of land, but only 45 acres of it is developable because there's floodplain issues, there's Northwest Expressway. The only opportunity for those types of tracts is going to be higher density uses. And that's not only to help out the developer, but also the city of Goddard. We want more value per acre, more taxable value for the smallest amount of land possible. Those tracts are not going to develop as single-family homes next to the expressway and with all that floodplain mixed in there. There's already some 100% two-family projects there. There's mobile home park. Just lots of context to be considered, especially as we look north.
Any other questions? Okay, I'll look for someone to make a recommendation to waive the reading of the ordinance.
I'll make a motion to waive the reading of the ordinance.
Second.
Amanda made the motion, Corey seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passes 5-0. Next step in the dance.
Make a
Go ahead.
Make a motion to approve the ordinance introducing the strategic overlay district into the zoning and subdivision regulations and updating the official zoning map to reflect the new district.
Second.
Amanda's made the motion. No, Naomi made the motion, Corey seconds. I'll get this straight. Roll call.
Councilmember Byrd?
Yes.
Councilmember White?
Yes.
Mayor Leach?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hall?
Yes.
Councilmember Leonard?
Yes.
Ordinance 1051.
1051 carries 5-0. Yeah, you're still batting. 4 for 4.
I think Mike should probably have to sub for me, but I'll get through this here. I wasn't planning to speak so much tonight. I sound so nasally, so thanks for bearing with me here. I want to just highlight one point to reiterate on the last agenda item. The design standards stay intact so long as the council wants to continue to do that as they look at zoning amendments and the restricted covenant. We are merely discussing the ratio. I think that's really important. The design standards were not lost in that. I've been a little remiss not to introduce a new member of our city staff, our assistant to the city manager, Josiah Watney. He's just starting week 4 here, so he's already added another gear to the work that we're doing through his expertise and his efforts. So super glad to have him on our team, and just want to make sure I recognize him. So
Excited to work with you all.
So a few updates here on some of the agenda items. I just want to highlight we've got the regular budget hearing and the revenue neutral rate budget hearing on Tuesday, September 8th. That's the day after Labor Day, so make sure you got the right date on your calendar. It'll be our regularly 7 p.m. meeting. The Guiding Goddard Comprehensive Plan. We've got some engagement opportunity coming up on September 24th, as well as a booth at Fall Festival where we will have the group going out and meeting the community where they're at to ask them their vision for Goddard's growth. In 2 or 3 days, so I'm told, we will have possession of the van from Wichita Transit for the Goddard Go transportation program. It's been kind of a fun hurdle after the other to get the title and the VIN number issue worked out that our staff has been diligently working through. I'm grateful for their perseverance. Starting tomorrow, we will begin getting our new AV upgrades. They should be done by Monday, August 24th, so we'll have the new system in our Tuesday council meeting. It'll feel a lot more professional in here, which is something I'm really excited about. No one feels good about clickers not working and having to use boom boxes and all the other issues we've faced over the last several months. So I appreciate the council and the community kind of being patient with us through those trials. So Trails End 3rd edition, 12 of 60 days have elapsed on that project. We're about to have a lot of new residential development come online that's nearing shovel ready. It takes a year and a half to get all this horizontal infrastructure in. Interesting, I sent an update to the governing body last week, I think. I think we've issued around 60 single-family new construction permits to 6 two-family new construction permits. So amongst all the discussion about two-family, this year has been all about the single-family home thus far. I do expect with a lot of these residential developments that are about shovel-ready, there'll be a bit of a catch-up moment for the two-family properties. The Public Works facility is progressing really well. I hope you guys have been driving by to watch those guys work. They're going to be continuing the exterior panels, wall blocking, and starting some of the HVAC, electrical, mechanical work as well. Legacy Bank Park, the crews poured and finished the pavilion pad. They finished the excavating and grading of the pond. They've done the sanitary sewer boring beneath Maple. The pipe is in for the sewer. We're going to be seeing the bentonite being packed into the bottom of that pond, so we have a pond that doesn't leak once it's full of water. Super excited for the progress on that project. The water looping project, the historic part of town, I'll call it, is proved to provide its trials and tribulations as it relates to this project. Once we get out of there, it should be much more smooth sailing. You've got to consider that area is full of utilities. It's well established. There's old stuff in there that we may not even know is there. They've been doing pretty good dealing with little paper cuts that have come up here and there as they've been working through that part of the project. 4th Street's pretty much done. Oak Street's pretty much done. They've got a couple of tree streets left there as far as water lines are concerned, and then hopefully in the next few weeks they'll be moving on to other parts of town, and we'll get that base layer of asphalt, the top layer of asphalt put back on those tree street roads. The 2026 roadway projects are kind of on pause in that area of town until then. As Jason shared tonight, we'll be doing the mill and overlay work now that's been approved, and then the concrete tear out and replace. We're going to try to target fall break for that. Rancho Brook Estates Phase 3, so they're continuing to keep moving forward on that. I'll just take a brief moment to, as far as the gate's concerned and the separation with the other county residents, we're hoping to get a final recommendation from our legal team midweek this week on the legalities of putting the gate there. The gates that have been proposed are really nice, decorative looking gates. They didn't want to go with something that would not fit within that, I'll call it a state style neighborhood. We've seen the application done before, so I'm hopeful it'll work. As you heard tonight, we basically got 2 property owners saying they want 2 different things. They're not residents of Goddard. So here we are refereeing 2 different positions from county neighboring property owners. I don't think at this time I'm ready to change course from the fence unless we get something from legal that says otherwise. Since this continues to get put back on your plate, we'll just keep you updated with one-way updates via email. Villas at Pleasant Ridge Creek. They've got most of the asphalt down there. I think we're just waiting on a base coat. It's one of those that's nearing shovel ready. Willows Ridge paving will be coming soon. They're finishing up the stormwater drainage. So in true contractor fashion, they wanted to start the day they told us they wanted to close Maple. We said, no, that's not going to work. We need to give the community a week of heads up. And then they didn't show up to do that work on that day. So we are trying to figure out if and when they need to close Maple, and we'll go at giving everyone notice again. So if you see folks getting riled up again about that, that's because it wasn't done the first time as it was committed to be done. Micromobility device ordinance, it's just kind of been hanging out in purgatory. I need to get a final review and comment from our staff leadership on that. Our legal team's had the draft ordinance to us now for a few weeks. 167th to 23rd Street, crew should be starting construction this week. Maple Tree, believe it or not, this one has been hanging out there for a really long time, but they just had their pre-construction conference and will have the notice to proceed issued September 1st. Applications are due for the Mayor's Youth Council September 1. If anyone from the public knows of a high school student at Goddard High, Goddard Eisenhower, or Goddard Academy that would like to be more civically involved and learn more about their local, state, and federal government, we would love to have them be a part of this program. And then there lies a few upcoming agenda items for you to peruse. Mr. Mayor, with that, I will retire, and if anyone has comments or questions, I'd be glad to field those.
Any questions? Were you good at fielding bunts in the infield
No.
or double plays?
No, I played second, so if I had to, I'd get run over and cover first.
All right.
I do have a question. I
Fire
real
away.
quick.
Actually, that's a question. Here we go.
I know our senior center director is fairly new, but I was just curious if we expect to get quarterly updates at some point.
Yes, so actually, I thought I had that as an upcking agenda item in here.
Okay, sorry, I didn't read all the way through them.
Yep.
Yes, she will be here to give the Q3 report. If not the next meeting, it should be within 1 to 3 council meetings.
Looking forward to it. Thank you.
And just because we're on that, and I see Karen over there, I think nothing but high praises for our new senior center director. She's
Yes, yes.
fantastic, so I love the sparkle of colors she's bringing to the space.
The old pink room.
I love it, so if you have not had a chance to stop by and see it, please do.
You need your sunglasses to go in there.
You will.
Okay, any other questions for Matt?
Thank you, guys.
Very good. Comments from the bench?
Start with me.
Start with you.
It's a pretty great meeting. Just want to thank our speakers, Janet, Amber, for coming in and sharing the thoughts. We always like it when the community does that, so we appreciate you coming in and spending some time with us this evening. I know they're gone, but maybe they're watching on TV or on the computer. Something like that.
Welcome, Josiah, officially.
Thank you.
You've been a huge asset already in the short amount of time that you've been here. And I want us to pay attention to Main Street because the work has begun on our mural, our first mural in Goddard. So they were out there today spraying the wall down and preparing it. So that will be coming, and yeah, I'm excited about that. And I want to thank Craig for the work on that because he has applied 3 years.
Ryan Schrack.
Ryan.
I gotta give credit where it's due.
Okay, so Ryan has applied 3 years for that grant, and we finally got it. So yeah, so Goddard's getting its first mural on the side of Stroop's locker.
Persistence pays off.
I'm excited to see it. I'd echo all of that. I would tell everyone to drink your vitamin C because we're week 2 of school, and I know Krista's edging her chair down there, so it's going around a little early. I just want to say, I mean, I've been seated, what are we, month 7, and I appreciate that even if we all don't share the same views all the time. I feel like we're pretty aligned, but I appreciate that we all have enough respect that we can have that candor, and we're willing to come back in the next time, and I think our hearts are all in the right place, and so I just appreciate that we're able to do that, and we get along well, and we work together well, and so I just want to put that out there and say thank you, because this has been a really good experience, so.
My turn?
Your turn.
Alright, I did want to make a comment about, the Rachel Brook Estates thing, so, we have been listening, and we do appreciate when citizens come up and give us comments, so we get to hear things, but I want to let everyone know that the city does do a great job of fielding a lot of these questions, and we've seen some of the communications that have been going on, and the city's been doing a great job, and I appreciate you, Micah, going and talking with individuals, but I hope citizens don't feel like they have to come up and give comments. We appreciate it, but there's also a whole staff that's always willing to listen and provide feedback, so you don't have to go that route. You can always go to the city and talk to them during their business hours, so, just letting everybody know that. So, I also wanted to just give a shout out to all the videos I've been seeing of some of the new things going on Facebook, social media, the city's been putting out. It's been great. I hope the community's been enjoying seeing what all's been going on, not just the city projects, but other things that have been going on with other developments. So I just look forward to seeing more of those. So thank you. That's it.
Okay. The micro mobility ordinance was after our meeting here downtown, about 2 o'clock. There was a guy on a bike ped, and I pulled out, turned on the main street. He was behind me. He pulled him onto the sidewalk, and he raced me to the other corner, and I was doing 20, and I think he was doing 25. And all I could see is someone stepping out of City Hall or the senior center.
The daycare.
Yeah, he kind of zigzagged back around, but I think we probably need to kind of get a handle on that. But this is, you kind of see something and you kind of go, is this really happening? And it did. So anyway.
Mayor, we'll put a shot clock on ourselves to have a draft of the ordinance in front of you by the next council meeting, which is the 4th Tuesday. The city attorney's given us one that we provided input on. We've had a couple meetings about it, and the last draft they gave us a few weeks ago, and it's been our leadership, including myself, that has not gotten that turned back around to them because of other priorities. But at any rate, we'll get a draft in front of you guys at that 4th Tuesday meeting, and we can workshop it a bit if you see some things you want to adjust, and we could look at codifying it that first Monday of September. I suppose it'll be here soon.
Tuesday.
Yep, the 8th.
And just seeing that was probably this afternoon is just kind of a reminder to all of us that we need to kind of keep that ball moving. The other thing I'll mention is at the last Tuesday's WAMPO meeting, the final approval for our joint project with the county to pave 183rd north of Maple to Central was approved, which includes our first roundabout. So first money spent on the roads in western Sedgwick County in 20 years.
Great.
So anyway,
Thanks for
kind
your
of
work
cool.
doing that.
Thank you.
3.5 million.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Very good work to do with it. So, and with that, any other comments? Not. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Or
I make a motion to adjourn
I second.
every time.
Amanda's made the motion. Krista seconds. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
Every time. I swear. Give me another 6 months.